All right, guys, welcome everyone to round 1 of season 7 here of the URC Racing League. Today we will be racing on the circuit Paul Ricard in France, like you can see on the right top of your screen. The first Grand Prix ever held here was in 1971, and we'll do a total of 27 laps because it's going to be a full qualifying with a 50% race afterwards. So I'm gonna do a small recap of what the track looks like because we got a special guest after this, but later we will tell more about that. Best overtaking opportunities will happen in turn 1, 8 and 11. As you can see on the screen, they are marked with little eye things like Chronicles. I think it's called Chronicles. I'm not quite sure. The most Grand Prix ever won was by Michael Schumacher, and I've got some bad news. It's going to rain today here in France, so we're gonna have a little talk. As I said, there was gonna be a special guest in the lobby, and it's gonna be Nat Peckers. Hello, Nat.
Hey,
How are you doing today?
I wish it wasn't raining, but I'm alright.
You feeling nervous?
No, it's just one of those where when you like a track, you sort of almost want it to be dry so you can properly drive it. Whereas I always feel like when it's wet, you just sort of like being a little bit more careful. You can never quite push as much as you want. But
True.
it's
And
dry for
also
the.
you have to keep
won't
your...
know because it's dry for the race, by the way. Because
Okay,
you
that's
won't
good.
know with the really
No, I didn't know,
crappy
but
spectator
thank
menu.
you for the information.
That's
But it's
right.
always
I do comms as well, so like I know how little you know unless it's blatantly obvious in quali. It's really annoying.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's very annoying during rain. You have to keep your concentration for a full lap, and when you miss your car one time, it's basically over, especially in the rain. So that's something she has to look out for, and all the other drivers too, because we got a couple of drivers out already. We see Swaits, De Vosket, Louis de Beaker, Wasted. Everyone is on a lap right now, so that's great to see. It's quite busy. So are you going to wait to come out, or does it really
I'll probably
matter?
wait a little bit,
Okay.
but I'll probably wait till after I think it's a Williams. There's too many blue cars.
Yeah.
I can never tell. It's like 5. I'll probably wait for that gap between the Williams and the Haas. That's quite a nice gap. But I'm not going to rush out because it's full quality and save some tyres for later, ideally, because I'd prefer to only do 1, maybe 2 laps. But I mean, what will be interesting for me personally, I don't know if everyone else is going to do this, is I'm going to run my dry setup. Because if you have a dry race and France and your wings are ever so slightly higher, you are screwed in a straight line straight away.
Yeah,
so
true.
I'd rather compromise, because you can overtake round here. I'd rather compromise my quality a little bit and be a bit more competitive in the race personally. But I don't know what everyone else is going to do.
On then, right?
Yeah, it is. But just because I've always noticed, even 3 clicks up on the rear now around France, and you're having to drain your ERS, and it's a really, really bad track for ERS management. So I prefer personally to run a little bit less around here than what a lot of people probably would.
Yep.
But it worked quite well for me.
I did a race on Thursday, I think it was, and the first, like the first position was already out of ERS after 3 laps. So
it's so easy to drain it around here because you've got a lot of overtaking opportunities. That's probably the reason why I love this track so much, is that I've driven side by side with someone through every single corner of this track, because you've always got the room to, and the way that the track naturally flows, there's no natural pinching point that you tend to get where someone's got to back out. There's always that room.
Yep. You
so
can
as long
go
as
very
both
wide
drivers
and
drive
out
with
of the corner.
respect, it's fine. But you've got so many corners that go onto a straight round here that it's so tempting to just try and get slightly more speed out of the corner and use a bit of ERS, and there's just not many heavy braking zones, so it doesn't recharge. A recharge on this game is dreadful anyway, so...
Yeah, true. I agree.
It's so bad.
That's why I chose to do F2 races instead of F1 races.
I love F2. F2's fun.
Yeah, it is actually, especially with no ERS, you cannot make an overtake that's impossible in real life.
Yeah. Just don't do Zandvoort in an F2 car. Worst race ever. Horrible. Just don't do it. It's literally just a train. No one can get past anyone unless someone bins it. But
Which track?
Zandvoort.
Oh, I've got
Can't
one on
overtake an
Friday.
F2
I've got
car.
one on Friday in Zandvoort.
Good luck.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Thank you.
It's horrible.
It is
Horrible.
a sort of a beginners league, well, a beginners division, so should be
Like,
good.
you're
You
more
know.
than welcome to ask Dan, who's in here as well, how he found the F2 cars around Zandvoort, and he'll tell you exactly what he thinks, and it won't be in
I'll ask
PG
him later.
language.
I'll ask him
He
after the
hated
stream.
it. Like, it made him want to drop F2. It was that bad. He said he'd never race F2 again. It was
Oh
that
my
bad.
days. Yeah.
So yeah, not enjoyable. But how many cars are on track? 15 out of 19. But it's not going to get any wetter, which is why I'm not rushing to go out, because it's already wet. Wet's wet, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the standings right now, like how it looks. It seems like Swipes has found his way here around this track with a 146.2. Then we've got B1 Trappy in P2 with a 146.2. He's only 400ths off Swipes time. Now we've got Louis the Beaker, who didn't feel very comfortable on this track, but it seems like he is doing pretty good with a 146.4. But of course, that's weather conditions, so the race conditions will be a little bit different. It will be sunny, so it will be a dry race. So that's some factor that can change the whole race and the whole standings. Because I mean, drivers like Skilled Dan and where is he? I'm Liamsy are known to be very fast, and yeah, they don't seem to be very performing here in the qualifying. Skills Dan right now in P8 with a 147.6. And we've got Rapid right now with the fastest lap, beating Swipes with almost 110. So that's great to see.
I mean, one thing I have noticed in wet conditions, especially, but even more so in intermediates, is running medium traction control now is such a massive advantage in wet conditions. It's insane. I mean, like, even on here, you can see the people that run medium, just because you're able to have that much more confidence and you can get on the power that much easier. But I mean, it's full quali. Like, I know I've got enough pace around here. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go crazy, because that's the other reason why I like staying in a little bit longer, going qualifying in these sorts of conditions, is you can see how much you need to push, because people do die, and like, if you stay in and you know that there's 20 in your session, 4 people have killed themselves, you don't need to push anywhere near as hard.
Because it doesn't seem like someone has crashed already, and
it doesn't seem to.
In France, it's also not really a track where a lot of people crash in France, right? Because you've got that many run away.
I'm talented.
Oh, okay.
I'm very talented. But,
I mean, France is one of your best tracks, so it should be all good, right?
Oh, no, don't say that. Oh, God, no. You're like everyone else now.
Before stream information, pre-race information.
Oh, no. Oh, God. I'm going to die.
Seems like there is a great gap between the Ferrari and the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, I'll go out at some point. This is the other thing with full quality. I'm never like, woo! I just sort of, I'll go out at some point. It'll be fine.
Let's talk a little bit more about the standings. Piastron, who doesn't seem to be very performing at the moment, 7th place with a 147.0. We still have to keep in mind, as he is going off track though, we do have to keep in mind it's a full qualifying, so we're only in Q1 right now. So I think from P1 till P15 goes through, and P16 till P19 falls off. Then we're going into Q2. Then only the top 10 makes it through to Q3. So that's a little bit how the Formula 1 works. We also have short qualifyings, but it doesn't seem like this league takes a part in that. They want to keep it very realistic, as it seems like they're managing to do quite well. They're keeping everyone on track. 19 people in the lobby, only one driver who hasn't shown up, and that's great to see, because I mean, I usually stream for leagues that are that are supplying 12 people of a racing seat, and then the other 8 don't show up. So that's not really great to commentate on, because you don't have many incidents, you don't have many overtaking opportunities, you don't have many, well, it's just a boring race usually with 12 or 10 people in, but it seems like this league manages to get it up very good. With 19 people in the lobby, Liam Z has improved his time of 146.6, and it seems like Nat Packers is out of her out of the pit lane. She's coming on the first main straight. She's leaving quite a bit of room, and I'm gonna let her talk herself right now, because she's gonna try
not to die.
Yeah, try not to die, and give us a little view on how she takes every corner, every thing on this track, especially how she takes the throttle into every corner. It's very difficult in the rainy weather, so we'll have a quick look how she's gonna do it.
France is horrible in the wet, because so much of the time, especially in quali, is on the curbs, and you're so much more nervous to run on the curb in these sorts of conditions, because there's just much less grip. But we'll see. Who knows? I'm not going to go mad, but we'll see how it goes. But Cross is here now, so he'll probably get pole. But it's not massively grippy at the moment.
It's wet condition though, not intermediate. But
oh yeah, definitely. So like round here, you want to try and sit half on the curb and take it as wide as possible to get a good exit onto the first straight and pick up speed. But it's so easy to get wheel spin, and like that's what I was saying earlier about the difference between no traction and medium. Why have I invalidated this one as well? Because I went off track to let someone through. Right, whatever. Extra warm-up lap, happy days.
Yeah, I think you invalidated on the exit there of the last turn.
No, that one didn't invalidate. It was from earlier when I was letting Dan and all of that lot through. But well, gets an extra bit of heat in the tyres. I've fueled up, it's alright. It's not the end of the world. But I haven't done any running around here in the wet in quite a long time, so I don't mind, to be fair. The grip's not too bad, it's mostly just in the faster corners that you've got to be careful around here. But an easy place to spin is this next corner on the turn-in. If you take the curb ever so slightly wrong, because if you take a lot, it's fine, but if you only take a little bit, then it will spin you. But 99% of this track is throttle control. You just got to be very careful with your turning points and how much throttle you put on, being in tune with the car and that sort of thing. But I love France, it's a great track.
Yeah, I don't really like it, because I mean corner, you know what the thing is, what's it called, the curves are a little bit too high for me to drive on, so I easily get distracted by the curves, and when I touch one I lose the car immediately, and then it's race over.
I get you. Yeah, you've got to know which curve to touch around it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, like just try and take it a little bit wide so that you can get power down without getting too much wheel spin, which is very easy to do in these sorts of conditions. I do, weirdly enough, prefer wets than I do inters on this game in particular. But a lot on turn 1, don't take too much on turn 2 because you will spin and die. I've done that before. And then this corner you want to sit half on top again, and then try and swing it in. Don't get too greedy.
Fastest sector 1 though.
I'm trying not to get too greedy, because I just need to get through. I don't need to set the world alight. I personally find it easier to sort of build my rhythm up in these sorts of conditions. I find it quite hard to sort of go out and whack in good time straight away. But
Yeah, that's where the extra lap comes in handy.
yeah, it was a plan all along, I think. And then usually that's flat, but I'll go a little bit safe today. Quality. And then this is like one of the best corners on the fucking game. This is the best corner on the game. Sorry for my language, but I love that corner. It's amazing. The amount of moves you can make around there is just next level. And then it just flows into here. But like, this is what I mean. Like the whole track layout, you can flow into each corner, and it just makes sense. And you can do some good racing around here. Like, there's never anyone on a properly compromised line. But that should do for Q1. Should do.
Yep. I think it should be in top 5, definitely. Actually, just puts in the fastest lap with a 146.0. So yeah, thanks, Nat, for your view on your lap. And I wish you good luck in Q2, Q3 and race. And maybe
I'll still be in here for like 2 minutes because I need to drive back to the pit before I leave the comms box.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, but I'm gonna leave already, so I can just talk a little bit about the standings if you don't mind.
No worries. I wasn't sure where your comms from, so.
Sorry.
But no, thanks, Nick.
Yep. See you maybe after the race with the post-race interviews. Good luck.
Thanks for doing the comms, by the way. We really appreciate it.
No worries. See you.
See you later.
Alright guys, so that was Nat's backers. It seems like she is very fast on this track today. She just puts in the fastest lap, 146.0. And it seems like not everybody seems very happy with the rainy weather. Piastron, who's usually a very good driver, is only put in the 10th fastest lap at the moment. David Barry, 12th. Doesn't seem to be very great either. He was quite fast in Abu Dhabi last week. I didn't really get the race results from that. I'm quite sure he had a very great race until he spun out at some point. Not quite sure. Ozone 2 fan, he was also very fast during the Abu Dhabi race. He's currently in P18, and it seems like it's very difficult with driving here in the wet weather. We also saw Nat Packers, sliding a little bit, but she's very used to this track, so that doesn't really affect her. But drivers like, well, who's usually fast here, David Barry, as he is on the lap right now and he is improving, so we might be able to see him get into that top 10 position. And the drivers like, well, and Transic, he is out of Q1 already. Then we've got Wasted is out of Q1 too, and Dylan is also out of Q2. Well, out of Q1. I'm still not sure how to say it. It doesn't really matter. David Barry, is he gonna improve? Maybe it was his last sector that wasn't great. Not quite sure, as he is going underway here for the last lap. And is he gonna come across the line? He actually is with a 146.8, so he is indeed gonna place himself in P10, and that means Piastron has to improve a little bit, because otherwise he is not sure he's gonna make Q3 at the end of Q2, because as I said at the beginning, it's gonna be top 10 that's gonna qualify for Q3. And I need to sneeze, so I will be back in a few seconds. Yep. And Piastro seems to come into the pits, and that's quite of a dangerous move, because if... oh no, okay, Jamal didn't really manage to improve. As it said, he already finished the race. Now we've got Panda, who is going quite slow, so he's not really going to be a dangerous, a danger for Piastron either. As Piastron already came into the pits, and Swipes too. Swipes, a new driver in this league. He is in P4 at the moment, so he might be able to compete with drivers like Rapid. Skills Dan, who is underperforming at the moment, so he's not really Skills Dan. He's a little bit of a noob Dan at the moment. 11th place. And Crossfire Strikes, I think that's a new driver too. He is in 2nd place at the moment, trying to compete with Nat Packers, who is only a couple of hundreds in front of him. Apparently, Panna is doing burnouts. Let's have a look. And here we got Panna, and some drivers are quite scared of a few drivers at the front. Rapid is the current champion because we all know from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I've talked about the race results from last race. Maybe I can get that up real quick. This was the last race of the season. And I don't have the thing up. I'm not quite sure why that is. I usually have the remote play on. I do have it now. So this was the results of last race, and it was Rapid who won the race to decide who is gonna win the championship, because here is the thing. It was equal on points, but Rapid has won the championship with the total wins from that season. So let's get back to the game. And it seems like Nat Packers is still at P1, as we talked about. I just missed who went out of Q1 already, because those drivers are not really performing anymore. I think it was Panda. I think it was Ozen 2 fan. Who else was there? I think it was Jamal. Yeah, it was Jamal. Ooh, and I think Lewis the Beaker had made a little mistake because he put on a wet setup and it's gonna be a dry race, so that's not great to see, as he just told me in the chat that he ran a wet setup. So let's talk a little bit more about the track, because we had to do a little bit faster because we had Nat Packers at the commentary box. So it's gonna be a 5.8 kilometer length of the circuit, which is quite a long circuit. You know, some tracks are only 3 kilometers or maybe 4 kilometers, but this one is almost 6 kilometers, so that's quite amazing to see. Total race distance of 157 kilometers after those 27 laps have been completed. The best quali record is a 128.3, but we won't see that today because it's raining quite hard. Drivers have put a wet tire on, so that way they can make it through the track without spinning. And the lap record is 132.7, so we'll definitely have to look at that, because there might be some drivers that are able to beat that today. It is very unlikely to see a lap record beaten, because it's usually from a F121 car, which was significantly, or whatever the name is, faster than a F122 car, which the drivers are driving in right now. Yeah, best overtaking opportunities, turn 1, turn 8, and turn 11. But as Nat said, it was gonna be a track where you can overtake in every corner, and I mean, I've seen that last race where it was the IRC league on Thursday, where we saw a lot of overtakes happen on every part of the track. We saw it in sector 1, we saw it in sector 2, where I said it wasn't going to happen in sector 2. We did see some overtakes in sector 2. Even in sector 3 we saw a few overtakes, especially between Timmy and who else was the driver. It was the Ferrari driver. I think it was Mystery. But yeah, we're gonna see who is gonna have a battle today. I think it's gonna be definitely the top 5 at the moment. They are not the realistic top 5. It was Rapid, it was Swipes, it was Louis the Beaker, I think. Who else was there? Nats Backers, and we had Crossfire Strikes, who were filling the top 5. And I think those guys will have amazing battles today. Nats Packers, I think it's the only girl in this league. She's performing quite well, so that's great to see that there are also women racers doing a great job in league racing, as I haven't seen many leagues with women in. And I would try to confess I would try to make sure that my girlfriend races too, but she's not really into racing, so that's very unfortunate, as we got a few drivers in a lap right now. I think Soapes is in a lap. We also got Piastron, but he is on an outlap. We got both Ferraris who are also on an outlap. So I think the first driver is Lewis the Beaker. No, it is actually Spillage. No, it is actually. It does actually. Let's have a look. I think it's the McLaren. No, it's not the McLaren. Yeah, it is the McLaren. I am Liam Z, who is currently in P13, and we want to get the telemetry up and the lap data, because that's quite important to analyze these tracks and these drivers, how they take every curb. And I think Sector 2 has been beaten by the Mercedes driver. I think it was Swipes. So let's have a look at Liam C. Oh my days, thank you very much. This is so embarrassing. This happens quite a few times. I don't know why that is. So yeah, we've not seen much yet. It's still 11 minutes into Q2. And apparently I I still have my notifications on, so I will be right back in a second. All right, there we go. Yeah, so my apologies. Apparently Liam C has been away from the game for almost a month, so he will be quite insane whenever he gets time into the game. And again, my apologies for that stupid screen at the few minutes ago. It was a little bit of a mistake, and you know what the thing is, I don't get a notification from you. You still get this screen up, so it's only when drivers are putting it in the chat I get the information. So Liam C just spun out of sector 1, sector 2, I mean the middle of sector 2. So we got a couple of drivers already setting in the lap. It's Swipes with the fastest lap at the moment. B1 Trappy, he's 1/10 slower. Then we've got I'm Liam C, who's 4/10 slower than P1. Dusty Fakes, he's significant. I cannot say the word. Who is a lot slower than Swipes. Skills Dan, he's not really very sure on how to take this track in wet weather conditions, because I mean he's really underperforming. He was quite fast last week in Abu Dhabi. He hasn't found his rhythm yet. Ozan Fan seems to be into Q2, as I thought he wasn't going to be able to do that. And we're going to have a look at Nat Packers. She just puts in the second fastest lap of 145.8, so I think Swipes is really pushing the limit out of his car. He wants to set an example for all the drivers. Be scared of what's going to happen during the actual race, because I'm coming for you. I'm ruling this league from now on. I'm just a new driver, but that doesn't matter. I've got the pace already, and you guys have to watch out for me, as Swipes just came across the line. He isn't really gonna improve. Crossfire Strikes fastest lap with 4/10 faster than the second place. Dusty Fakes. He is into the pits right now. It doesn't seem like he's really performing well. P9 right now, so he is a little bit of in the danger zone, you know. Piastron isn't really performing either. He invalidated this lap, so I think he's either gonna come into the pits, try to put in some new rubber and go back on track, or he's gonna try to put in another lap. I think put in another lap is the best solution. He hasn't put a time in yet, or not a good one, and he comes into the pit, so that's not really a great decision. I think he should have done one more lap, and that way you are able to come into the pits next lap, and you will have loads of time to put in another lap if you're not sure that you will make sector 3, Q3. My apologies. It's been a long day, so I'm a little bit confused and tired. So if Barry is gonna try to set a lap in, I think he's not gonna be able to make it into the top 5, but he surely is gonna make it into the top 10. He isn't actually. P11, so he has to set in another lap, because otherwise he is out of Q3, out of Q2. Not in Q3, let's say it like that. Mm, Torment, let's have a look at him. He invalidated this lap already. Maybe Lewis the Beaker, he invalidated this lap too, and he's gonna come into the pits. So let's have a look at David Barry, as he is gonna try to set in another lap, because he's not really performing well at the moment. He's got the fourth slowest time, as he is putting himself in P11. And it's gonna be the question where he's gonna end up after Q2, because if he doesn't get into that top 10 fast, he's gonna have to start from P11 till P14, somewhere there, and that's really dangerous because that's in the middle of where all the carnage happens, and it doesn't seem like he is improving. So he should come in, try to get in some new tires, and go out for another lap. I'm Liam Z. Just started. No, he didn't just start a lap. Who just started a lap? That was quite dangerous. No, not dangerous. That was quite confusing. As Liam G just invalidated his lap, so I don't think he will try to put in another lap. Maybe he will. Depends on if he's coming in. He isn't coming in, so he's gonna come across the last corner. He's going flat out here on the main straight, the start-finish straight, as he is gonna try to set in another time. I do think he should be able to get into Q3. And let's have a look how he takes this circuit. As we saw Nat Packer's POV, and he is gonna lose his back of his car, so he isn't really gonna improve anymore on this lap, I think. And we see that B1 Trappy is on a lap right now, still on an out lap. He is on intermediate tires, and I think that's a risky decision, as it doesn't seem to be intermediate tire weather yet. He's slipping all over the place, and I do think he's gonna come into the pits to put in some new rubber. He actually isn't. He's gonna try to set a lap on these tires, and it's quite dangerous because if you get out on intermediate tires but you lose your car, you're basically gonna well, you're gonna how do I say this? You're not gonna be able to take a part in Q3 if you lose your car and spin into the wall, so that's something to look out for, as he is taking sector 1 quite nice. Not too much speed on the inside curve in turn 1, but it seemed to be quite alright. Let's have a look how he's gonna take this corner, and it doesn't seem like he's touching too much curbs, so that means he's quite secure on how he's gonna take this track. Well, he's quite, how do I say this? Soft? Not sure if that's the word. Let's have a look at I am Liam C, as he's gonna come across the line, and he's still gonna try to set it in a lap. And I don't think that was a great decision. He should have come into the pits and tried to set in some new rubber, or maybe he's gonna save his tires for Q3, as I think it will rain too. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look with some other drivers. We've got Ozen2 fan who invalidated this lap, so that's not great to see. Piastron, it has to happen this lap, because I'm not sure. Well, he is gonna have enough time to set in another lap, but then it's gonna be close, and I don't think he will be able to come into the pits and put in some new rubber. So this will be his last final lap, or maybe his final lap. That matter. Well, that depends on how he's gonna nail this circuit. And it doesn't seem like he's touching too much curbs, like the Alpine is right behind him. Ooh, and that was almost an invalidation. 2/10 up. He's going onto the main straight right now, flat out, as he's going into turn, what is it, turn 8, I think it is indeed turn 8, where it's a very good overtaking opportunity to dive into the inside. But of course, in qualifying, nobody is gonna dive into his inside. Well, down the inside, let's say it like that. He improves by 1.810, so that will place him not in the top 14, and I'm afraid he's not gonna make it into the top 10, as it doesn't seem like he's nailing every corner. Maybe sector 3 what might have been a killer for Piastron. as he's gonna come across the last few corners, and he's got his teammate right in front of him, and that teammate has to watch out. It was quite dangerous what he did there, but I don't think it costed too much time for the British, well, the Welsh driver. I think it's a Welsh driver, and he's gonna come across the start finish line to put in a lap, and I think he's gonna beat the, no, he's not gonna beat the top lap. He puts himself in P10, so that's just enough to put himself in Q3. But of course, we got drivers like David Barry, Spillage, Ozen Fan, and Rapid who still have to put in a lap. And I think it's very important for Rapid to set in a great lap next lap, because otherwise he's not going to make it into Q3, and that's going to be very dangerous. Crossfire retired from the session, as I think he retired into the pits, so that's great to see. That's what we love to see, retiring into the pits. And Dusty Fakes right now in P9, as we saw someone saying in the chat, he usually flies under the radar, but it doesn't seem like he is secure of his top 10 position yet, as it is going to be Rapid at the moment. It seems like it's raining quite heavily right now, and I think that's something that has to do with the race. Rapid right now coming across the start finish straight, as he's gonna start another lap, and he's gonna try to improve by quite a bit. And apparently it was during the race, and I think that also has to do something with the total of DNFs during a race. It's gonna be dry weather, and especially here in France we won't see many DNFs, so that's great to see. Drunk Pirate, can you let us know what driver tag you are in the race? That way we can keep an eye on you. You won't get knocked out, Lewis. I think you're quite secure. We only got Rapid, who might be able to improve a little bit. We got Skills Dan, maybe David Barry, but I don't think the other guys are gonna be a great risk. Not sure. Dangerous thing. Piastron, is he improving? He isn't improving, so he's gonna drop out of Q3. We got Nat Packers just put in the fastest lap, as she's coming across the line to put in a 145.2, so that's almost beaten by 2 tenths. I'm Liam Z has improved by a couple of tenths, 145.5, and now we're gonna have a quick look at the back of the grid here. Skills Dan is improving by quite a bit, I think. He's gonna come across the last corner at the moment, flat out onto the main straight. And let's have a look if he's gonna improve by a bit. I do think it's not good. Well, it might be enough. It is enough. 9th place for Skills Dan, and that means David Barry has dropped out of Q3. Well, Q2, I'm not sure how to raise it. Okay, that's great to see, Drunk Pirate. Thank you for that information, as it is gonna be the end of Q2. As your top 3, I think it was Nat Packers. Who else was there? Crossfire Strikes. And then I'm Liam C to fill in the 3rd place. Swipes P4. Who else do we have? D Fosket, 5th. That's great to see. We haven't seen him in Q3, but it seems like he has found his form back in Q2. Q1, my apologies. We didn't see him in Q1. I guess Q3 still has to come. Yeah, the Fosket right now, P5, he seems to have found his form back in Q2. B1 Trappy, P6. Louis the Beaker, who was on intermediate tires at the end of Q2, seems to have made it into Q3 with the 7th position. He has to improve a little bit more to get into that top 5 position to make sure he has a chance at winning the race. Of course, the strategy can also play a part in that, as it is going to be qualifying 3 at the moment. I'm going to take a little break before we're getting into Q3, but I'm sure gonna leave the stream open, and I will see you guys in a second. All right, guys, welcome back to round 1 of season 7 here of the URC Racing League. I do have a little question for Drunk Pirate. Do they regularly have streamers, or was it something that wasn't really? Because I'm a new streamer. I'm not sure if you knew that, but I'm the new commentator of this league. And I was just wondering if they're switching commentators quite usually, or how I am compared to the other commentators. We are in Q3 right now. It is gonna be the Fosket in P1. Of course, this isn't really a great standing to look at because no one has set a lap in yet. But we do have 9 drivers on the track right now, and it is gonna be very exciting till the last minute to see who is gonna finish in P1, because we are seeing some great competitors for Net Packers at the moment. We are seeing that Rapid was quite fast. We saw that Swipes was quite fast, and I think the top 5 was within 6/10 of Net Packers, so that's something to look out for, especially with rain weather. If you're good in the rain, it might slow you down, but if you're still getting into Q3, you might be able to do a great performance in the dry weather. Right, thank you very much, Drink Pirate. So yeah, the Fosket. We've got a few drivers on the lap right now. I think the first driver is Lewis the Beaker, and I knew. Thank you, Drunk Pirate. I appreciate it. So we've got Lewis the Beaker right now, and I'm sure he's listening to the stream. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on his drive at the moment, going onto the main straight, flat out. As we don't have the telemetry up, we gotta put that up real quick. Maybe we want to have a look at what tires the drivers are on. Everyone is on wet tires, so that means that it's still raining quite hot. And Lewis the Beaker invalidated his lap, so we're gonna switch over to Swipes, who is getting pushed by the Alpine driver right behind him. And I think that's something the drivers really have to look out for. I've seen it a couple of times in league races where there are a couple of drivers who are quite close to the driver in front of him, and that means they have to abort their lap even though the driver in front of them is slower than them. Lewis the Beaker going to the side quite nicely there to make room for the drivers who are getting past. So yeah, Swipes right now, and it seems like he's a little bit, how do I say this? He's a little bit gentle on the throttle, because he doesn't want to risk anything, but that means that the Alpine driver is making his way closer to Swipes right now, and that he or she, I think it's Nat Packers, will have slipstream on the main straight here, and that's not a great sign, as we're gonna see Swipes crossing the line, and he is gonna put a 145.8. Then we've got Nat Packers putting in a 145.1, so she improved by 7/10, and that's a great performance by Nat Packers. I think she calculated it a little bit that she would have the main straight slipstream be one trappy, putting in a 145.5, of course, without any slipstream. So I think Nat Packers really performing quite well here in France. I think she said to me in DMs that it was going to be her favorite track, or at least a track where she is very good at. And we can see that clearly here in Q3, as she is beating her competitors with more than 3/10. So let's get back to Lewis the Beaker, who wasn't able to put a lap in, and it seems like he is going past Nat Packers at the moment. Yellow flag in sector 2, that must be Nat Packers who is slowing down. She has to watch out though, she's got the AlphaTauri right behind her, but he or she invalidated. And Lewis the Beaker, let's have a look. I'm not sure if he's gonna finish the track though. Well, this lap, of course, he has to finish the track to set it in a lap. This is round 1, yeah. Last race was the preseason race around Abu Dhabi. Right now they are driving in round 1, so not sure what the results were in Abu Dhabi. I think Rapid had done a great performance. yeah, if you wanna have a look at previous streams, maybe the season ender of last season, you can have a look at my YouTube where every stream will get posted. So my YouTube is VB Thomas with double S, just like my Twitch. Louis the Beaker P4, amazing lap by the Alfa Romeo driver, 145.6, as he just invalidated this lap again. And I don't think he will go for another lap. Rapid right now, he's coming into the pits. He doesn't think he's gonna improve. Now we've got Skills Dan, who is on an outlap. That doesn't work. I still have to install that. I'm not sure how to do that, but I will get it in the future. Skills Dan right now, P8. He is on an outlap, so let's have a look what he's going to be able to perform, because we all know that Skills Dan is quite of a fast driver, as he was tied on points for the season ender with Rapid, but yeah, he didn't win the race, and that's what costed him the championship. So yeah, he was going to be consecutive champion because he won the season, well, the championship the season before last season, because we're in a new season right now. He won season 5, and he would have won season 6 if he had won the race, but he wasn't very lucky with his strategy. I think he had an incident too. Yeah, Rapid went away with the victory, which he won the championship on wins because they were equal on points. And let's have a look at Skills Dan right now. He's gonna come across the start-finish straight, and he's going to get into a lap, so we want to be a little bit more quiet because we don't want to discuss anything. He has to put the focus on himself, and yeah, of course he's not listening to the stream, but we have to keep our focus on too, because we want to see how everyone nails this track. And let's have a look with his POV, as he is getting into sector 2 right now, taking quite a bit of curb into the inside there, losing the rear a little bit. He had the fastest first sector, but that might be the setup, as he might have put a wet setup in to be a little bit faster into sector 1. And we're gonna have a look if he's faster in sector 2, because if he's faster in sector 2, that means he does have a different setup on than well, then he should have in the race. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Lewis. Yeah, of course, I'm quite committed to the role, but it's quite, well, I mean, it's quite important to stick to your role, because otherwise, you know, you're not getting anywhere. I'm trying to do my best, and I didn't know they didn't have a YouTube or a Twitch, so I had to stream with my own stream. I don't really mind, because I'm streaming for 3 other leagues on this platform, and that gives a little bit of content, you know. Skills Dan has put the 7th fastest lap in with a 146.1. We're gonna have Crossfire Strikes, who hasn't put a lap in yet, and he is not really fast here either, so he's gonna try to set in another lap next time, because there's only 2 more minutes on the timer, and it would be very, very unfortunate if Crossfires doesn't perform here in Q3. He has been very fast in Q1 and 2, but yeah, right now in Q3 it's really underperformed. No, he invalidated his lap, so he has to go out for 1 more lap, next lap, to make sure he puts the time on the table. Because right now he's in P9 without a lap, and so is Liam C, but he just puts in the fastest first sector, and it is very dangerous there, coming out of that corner, having a little bit of traction loss, but he managed to keep it on track, and that's great to see. I think it was an Aston Martin driver going to the side quite nicely there, as he's got the Alpine driver right behind him, so they have to have a look if they're gonna have an incident or not. Of course, we don't want to see any incidents. Liam C with the fastest second sector, And I think he is able to perform a great lap here, and he might be able to beat Nat Packers. Depends on if he's having a great sector here in sector 3. But Nat Packers, I knew she is running a what is it, a high speed setup. That means she is a little bit faster on the main straights, because that's where you're really able to overtake. And I'm having problems. I'm not sure what's happening with my OBS. I think it's glitching a little bit, doesn't really matter. As Liam is coming across the start finish straight right now, he's gonna put a banger of a lap. 145.0 for you guys, beating Nat Packers with precisely 1/10. And yeah, Nat Packers, what do you have to say now? What do you have to say now? She's gonna try to put in one more lap, and it's not gonna be enough because she lost traction there. I think she's a little nervous because she just got beaten by a driver that hasn't driven for a month. B1 Trappy is on the left. Crossfire, we have to look at him. If he's gonna try and put in another lap. And I think he should be able to, as he's got Liam C right behind him. But he's not going very strong into those corners, not putting too much throttle in. And D Foskett and Skills Dan aren't able to put the lap in anymore. So those positions are locked in or are gonna drop back a little bit, as it seems like Crossfire is really on the outside there of that curb. I think he's got a great setup for the straights, because he seems to be flying on the main straight there in sector 2 and in sector 3. As we can see, he just put in the fastest second sector, as I'm fucking up some things with my controller, so I'm gonna leave that on the ground. So we're gonna have a look if he's gonna be able to perform here in sector 3. Quite a dangerous sector. He does have the Aston Martin right behind him. It's quite dangerous here in sector 3, guys. Quite a lot of overtaking opportunities. It's raining though, so those won't happen. But I heard it was gonna be dry during the actual race. Swipes. No fucking way. Sohaib just puts in the fastest lap with a 145.0, and I think that's gonna be books closed. No way! No way! Guys, this is amazing. The last couple of seconds of Q3, and we are seeing Crossfire with the fastest lap, Rapid with the second fastest lap, Soyuz with the third fastest lap, and get beaten. Liam C and Matt Nat Packers get beaten, get wrecked. You know, you should have done one more lap. Nat Packers, I'm not sure. No, thank you, Camuel. I'm not sure if I can. There we go. I've banned him because he was doing some things on the stream which we absolutely don't want. Okay. So this is gonna be your Q3 results. Crossfire first, Rapid second, Swipes third, and Liam C fourth, Nat Packers fifth. And I think Nat Packers has the American flag, but I thought she was British. That's a bit of a mind-blowing thing. We've got B1 Trappy in P6, Lewis the Beaker in P7, great performance by him. D Foskett P8, so he's dropped all the way from P4 to P8. Tormin in P9 and Skills Dan in P10, who isn't really performing quite well in the rain, but maybe he's able to perform a little bit better. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the strategy prediction, which I made. I always made strategy prediction, guys, so it's quite important to have a look at those. And I got an explanation for the first one. So, if you go from soft to hards and there is no safety car, you can just stay on the soft hard strategy. But if there is a safety car, you can go from soft to hards to mediums, and that, in my opinion, that's going to be the fastest. Because I mean, you will be able to get a few laps into a few positions into the first lap because of the start, because you're gonna get a few more positions on the soft tire than on the medium tires, especially when you have a good start. But yeah, the fastest well, that was the smartest, in my opinion. The fastest is going to be medium hards, which is basically in all leagues, in every league. It's always medium hards, and they really have to do something about it because it's a little bit of a no-brainer to pick medium hard strategy or hard medium, doesn't really matter. Depending on when you think there's going to be a safety car. And then an alternative is soft hards, which is basically reflecting the first one, but then with no other pit stop. So yeah, those are my opinions on strategy predictions, as we're having a formation lab right now, so I might be able to show a little bit more about the results of last, well, I think it was, let's have a look. It was the last Grand Prix of the season. I'm not sure what race that was. I think it was Zandvoort. And these were the results, as it was Rapid in P1, Skillsland in P2, Swipes in P3, and I think Swipes, he's really strong in race. He got crashed out during Zandvoort, but he managed to get back from P10 to P3, I think it was, not sure. But yeah, he got 15 points on the board there. And he should be able to perform quite well. Not sure who. I think Nat Packers didn't really have a great race in Zandvoort. And I don't even think she showed up. I'm not quite sure. I can't read it. Quite unfortunate, but doesn't really matter. As we're going underway for the France Grand Prix, it's still a formation lap, so we're gonna have a little bit more time to get some snacks in, maybe get some water in, or whatever you're drinking, Coke, doesn't really matter. Well, the best thing is water, because water is healthy, you know. But if you want to get yourself a Coke, go get yourself a Coke. We still have 30 seconds left to get some snacks in. And yeah, we'll see you in 30 seconds, guys. A little bit more information about the track. You'll have two DRS sections. So in sector, well, from sector 3 to sector 1, on the start-finish straight, you will see a little bit of a DRS sector. And also in sector 2, you will see a DRS sector. So that's something we have to look out very carefully, because we will see a lot of overtaking opportunities there. And especially with the circuit like Paul Ricard, you're seeing a lot of overtakes, and it's really difficult for a commentator to switch onto different battles. And as I can see on screen, we're seeing that Nat Packers and B1 Trappy have disqualified from the session. Of course, that's only the warm-up lap, the formation. My apologies, guys. The formation lap, because they probably drove against each other. They had a little incident, but that doesn't mean they are invalidated. This lap. So let's have a look. It's gonna be 5 red lights, as there's still someone trying to get themselves on the track. It is a Williams driver, and I think it's Panda. He's a little bit of a goofy driver here. He was doing donuts in Q1. So let's have a look. Everyone is lined up, and it is gonna be crossfire starting from the front. Rapid behind them. Swipes in P3, and we want to have a look how things are gonna turn out. It's 5 red lights, and away we go here for the France Grand Prix of the URC Racing League Season 7. And it doesn't seem like there are many overtakings happening. Swipes made the move work on Rapid. This is going to be Rapid in P3, Liam C in P4, Nat Packers in P5, but she's already under attack by the Alfa Romeo driver. Right behind her, it is Louis Beaker, who did make the move work, and also the Red Bull driver has made the move work. And Nat Packers is going back on the inside, back on the outside, but she's going to have a better run on the outside. So she made the move done on B1 Trappy. Let's have a look if someone else is quite close. Maybe AlphaTauri driver here on the Ferrari driver on the outside. Is there gonna happen anything? It doesn't seem like it. They're going side by side on the main straight, and it seems like the AlphaTauri driver has made the move work. And is he gonna make a dive bomb here on the inside? No, that would be a little bit dangerous, as it seems like Steve Foskett has lost a couple of positions. I think he's lost 4. Jamal is having a battle with the Ferrari driver at the moment, but it seems he has won that position, wasted at the moment. Gained a few positions, And let's get back to the front. Panda with a 10-second penalty, corner cutting, so that's not great to see. B1 Trappy having a battle with Nat Packers at the moment as they're going side by side in Sector 3. Quite a dangerous sector to make an overtake work, but it seems like B1 Trappy has made it work as he is finding Nat Trappers right behind him. Yeah, Nat Trappers, we had her in Q1 for a view on her lap, and it was actually great to see because she was talking a lot about how she takes the track and, well, everything she had to say about racing. And she's gonna try and make a move on the inside here. She is gonna back out of that. Panda DNF'd, and maybe we are gonna see a safety car. We're not gonna see a safety car as the race what is it, the game developers are suggesting a hard medium strategy. We're not going to be able to see a lot of overtaking happens. Soibs right now 5/10 behind Crossfire. We might be able to see an overtake here from Torman, who is right behind Nat Packers, and they don't have DRS yet, as it is not going to be lap 3 yet. As it seems like Torman is making a move on the inside. Is he going to make it work? It seems like it. They're going to come across. Ooh, he is pushing her outside, well, outside the track a little bit, and it seems like Nat Packers has claimed the position back, but she's losing a couple of positions now to Skills Dan and Torman. As Skills Dan, well, really benefits from that. He made up 2 positions thanks to that little incident between Torman and Nat Packers, and Nat Packers is dropping down positions rather fastly. She's back in P11 right now, and she started from P5, I think, so she has lost 6 positions. She's taken it quite carefully here in Sector 3, as we saw the Mercedes driver going a little bit slower. Piastron in P9 at the moment, but we're seeing a great battle here in Sector 3 between a couple of drivers. It's quite close racing as they're leaving so much space for each other, so that's great to see. And we've got my girlfriend in the chat right now. Shuki, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. I wish I could come, well, I could, how do I say this? I could try to get you into league racing, but I don't think it's going to be something for you, as Piastron just lost 2 positions to Spillage and Nat Packers. And is Piastron going to try and get the position back? No, he's under fire from behind him. D. Foskett, who's going to try and get into that top 10 position. He sure has to get past Piastron first, and then he can try to make an overtake on Nat Packers. So let's get at the front here as Swipes finds himself quite close to the Red Bull driver, 4/10 behind him, and I think he has DRS. Not yet, it's going to be after this lap, as the drivers have to wait 4 laps before they get DRS, and it is going to be rapid quite close to the McLaren driver right now. Is there going to be an overtake happening here in Sector 3? And I think it's going to be a big chance of getting an overtake here in Sector 3. I think it is turn 11, turn 13. I'm not sure. This is turn 13. Oh my god, that was a dangerous and a difficult sentence. 4/10, and he has the DRS, so it seems like the drivers already have 3 laps. Well, they have DRS after 3 laps. It is going to be 6/10, so that's not going to be enough. And I think Sector 1 is really difficult to make an overtake work. Maybe into turn 1, but that's not very likely, as we're having Nat Packers, Transit, who's making a move on Ozan Fan, Rapid, who is making a move on Liam Z, and I think Liam Z has lost his car. So that's very unfortunate to see. B1 Trappy is the first one to get a real penalty, a 3-second penalty for him already on the board, as we're seeing Piastron and Ozan Fan with another penalty. And Ozan Fan finds himself quite close to Barry, as he's under pressure from behind, from Wasted. And I don't think David Barry is very keen on this track, because, I mean, back in P14 he looked very strong in Abu Dhabi, but it doesn't seem like he has found his form here in France, as there is quite a bit of a gap between Swipes and Rapid at the moment. 3.510, so that's quite a bit of a gap. Skills Dan is trying to make a move on B1 Trappy. B1 Trappy already has the penalty, so if Skills Dan just wants to get that P6 position at the end of the race, I think he just has to keep it behind B1 Trappy until they're getting back at Liam C, because, I mean, B1 Trappy is improving a little bit, but he cannot take the normal lines because he's under fire from Skills Dan. Skills Dan, who is currently making his way back up the grid, as we're gonna have a look at the position changes. So it seems like Soibs has won a position, Rabbit has lost one, Louis the Beaker has made up 3, so he is doing a great job at race starts during this race, as he finds himself in P4 in his AlphaTauri car, Alfa Romeo car. What am I saying? AlphaTauri car, Alfa Romeo car. And as we all know, Alfa Romeo is my favorite brand because in the family we got an Alfa Romeo company. So yeah, they're supplying us with Alfa Romeos, and I mean that's why we are big fans of Alfa Romeo. So Skills Dan made up 3 positions too. Spillage in P5. No, in P9, made up 5 positions. That was the thing I was about to say. Nat Packers has lost 5, and I don't think it's the start she wanted to have. Everyone was looking at her to win this Grand Prix, but it doesn't look like she's gonna win the Grand Prix. It seems like it's struggling to get into the points, as she's gonna try and make a move on the inside here in sector 3. She has made the move done on the AlphaTauri driver, Alfa Romeo driver. Why am I keep saying AlphaTauri? I'm not sure. Louis the Beaker has just lost the position to I'm Liamc, who is getting quite hot here in France. He's found his way after that P1 in Q3. Well, he didn't get P1, but he lost P1. He dropped back all the way to P4, as it is going to be Louis the Beaker losing a position already 6 tenths behind I'm Liamc. So Liamc really has a turbo at the back of his car at the moment, but Louis the Beaker is very lucky. He has the DRS at the moment, so he's able to get a little bit closer to the guy in front of him. There's going to be a yellow flag in sector 3. Not sure what happened there, but it seems like Nat Packers has come into the pits. She's going onto hard tires already, which is quite a dangerous move. But not quite sure what she's thinking at the moment. It seems like Larcy is thinking that Swipes is going to end up P1, Rabbit is going to end up P2, and Crossfire is going to end up P3, as it seems like Swipes is really close to Crossfire at the moment. Nat pit indeed, and I'm not quite sure why she did that. I think she thought there was going to be a safety car, because there was a yellow flag in sector 3, but it didn't really happen, as we're gonna see a little bit of overtaking happens here in sector 2, as it is gonna be Skills Dan making the move work on B1 Trappy. Tormund maybe tries to benefit out of that, although he has Spillage right behind him, and it's a 4-way battle here for P6, as we want to get these position changes removed. Tormund is losing a little bit of pace compared to the drivers in front of him, because he's under attack by the Alfa Romeo driver. And ooh, that was quite dangerous there. I'm not sure who is in fault for that, if it was the AlphaTauri driver for closing the gap right there, or if it was the Alfa Romeo driver for driving so fast into that corner. He's gonna try and get a good exit here to maybe try and make a move on the Red Bull driver on the main straight here, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe the Alfa Romeo driver onto the inside, he's gonna back out of it, so that won't happen in sector 1. Maybe going into sector 2 we might see an overtake happen, because that's a sector where you can easily overtake, as we saw in the the IRC stream from Thursday. Oh, don't worry, you're not bothering me. I'm looking at my screen, not at my PC. So let's have a look. We are seeing a little bit of overtaking happen here, right behind David Barry, as it is going to be wasted right behind him, Dylan. But we want to get back here, because Tormund is making a move on the outside of the Red Bull driver, as we just missed that, unfortunately. But it seems like, ooh, the Red Bull driver is coming back at it. He is having the good exit out of that corner. And is it going to be enough? It isn't going to be enough. The AlphaTauri driver seems to have a better straight line speed. So yeah, that's going to be overtake done for Tormund, getting into sector 3. And he might be under fire, because as we saw, the AlphaTauri driver had a better straight line speed, but that means that the Red Bull driver has better corner speed. So that means he has better downforce. And he is quite close though. We're seeing Piastron having some battle with Antransic. Crossfire just puts in the fastest lap. And indeed, the girl in the race is Nat Packers. We had her for interview at the beginning of the race. But yeah, Spillage not really doing a great job at keeping up with Trappy and Torment at the moment. Only one... Well, he's almost 1 second off, still quite a bit. But we have to keep in mind that Trappy has a 3-second penalty, and so does Piastro, and I think he has best penalty. Soibs is dropping back a little bit. He's almost out of that second. He does have the DRS at the moment, but that's not gonna last for long because it seems like Crossfire really has the pace here in France. Rapid at the moment 6 seconds behind, so he's losing a little bit of time compared to the drivers in front of him, but it seems like Liamsey is getting quite close to them as they got a McLaren driver already one lap behind, and it is going to be Torment making the move here on the Ferrari driver, and Skills down just lost the position. Maybe the Red Bull driver is going to try and make a move, and it's going to be another three-way battle for P6, and I think Torment is really draining his battery at the moment. He has 0% left, and I think the Ferrari driver has 30% left, and B1 Trappy doesn't have any left, so it's gonna be a four-way battle right now because Spillage has come into the battle. He is in P9, so it's gonna be either P6 or P9 for these drivers, or something in the middle, as it doesn't really... Well, it's not really a great difference of points. P6 gets 12 points, I think it is. No, it is 8 points, and P9 gets 2 points. So yeah, not really a great difference, but I mean, for a championship battle, it's quite important. But these guys are maybe Skills then, but I don't think the other drivers are really up for a championship battle after this race. For a couple of laps after, as we're seeing B1 Trappy just spun out, so that's unfortunate. He couldn't handle the pressure that was on him. And right now we're seeing him dropping back to P11. We're going into sector 2, so that means a great overtaking opportunity, as it seems like the Alfa Romeo driver had a great exit. He's gonna have DRS on Skills Dan, and let's have a look what's gonna happen. Is Village gonna make the move work? I don't think he is. He's too far back. Maybe he's gonna make a dive on the inside, but even for that he's too far back, so that's not gonna happen, unfortunately. And especially when he's crashing out like that, he's gonna get overtaken by Piastron and Entransic, and maybe he's gonna have another battle with Trappy for P10 right now, so they're gonna battle for points. Piastron with the 3-second penalty. Soaibs has made a little bit of time back in sector 2, and I think he's quite close, and he has the DRS, so that's great to see. He didn't have a great exit there as he lost the car a little bit, but that's not too much to think about, as it is gonna be Skills down, losing a little bit of time to Torment, and they're making up a few seconds, or maybe, well, a couple of seconds though, on Lewis the Beaker. And I think Lewis the Beaker is listening, but he's feeling kind of nervous. So Lewis, if you're hearing this, the guys are quite behind you, and they're improving by quite a bit. Wasted is having some battles with the Haas driver at the moment, and we're gonna have a look who is gonna make the move work. Is it gonna be Haas or is it gonna be Aston Martin? And I think the Aston Martin has backed out of the move, as we are only seeing 2 DNFs yet here in this race. Nat Beckers with the fastest lap at the moment, a 134 point something, as she is on the hard tires though, and back in P16, so she has to wait for everyone to come into the pits and change tires. But we're only in lap 10 yet, so the drivers are going to try and extend their tires as much as possible. Thank you very much, Shuki. And let's get back to the front here, as it is going to be Crossfire and Soaibs battling for P1. It is a little bit of a it is a little bit of a battle for the DRS, because I mean Soaibs has to get into 1 second. My apologies, guys. Someone said something very funny in the chat, and there is a commentator in the Netherlands called Olaf de Mol, and my buddy calls me Thomas the Mol. Well, Thomas Mol actually. And so I had the DRS though, but it was quite close into sector 1. And there is a yellow flag in sector 3, and I think that's going to be the McLaren driver. I think it's the Foskett who is leaving much space for the other drivers. Piastron is the first one, well, the first real one coming in, because Nat Packers did a little bit of an early move, you know. She's making the move work on the Ferrari driver, who's not really having his battle here. And D. Barry is under attack from behind the Haas driver. He's going to make the move on the inside. Is it going to work? It isn't going to work. And he's going to back out of the move. And let's have a look back at the front here. Still 8 tenths. He's still having the DRS. But yeah, it's not going to be enough. And I think Crossfire really has that that setup for the main straights. No, for the downforce, because he's making up so much time into the corners. Wasted is having the DRS on the Haas driver, but he's too far back, as that is not gonna happen. So let's have a look here in P9, as Spillage is gonna try and make another move on Transic, because those guys have been battling quite heavily already, and we don't want to miss any overtakes from these guys. My girlfriend is supporting the girls, of course. Nat Packers seems to have great pace here on this track, but she has made an interesting strategy pitting early into the race, as she thinks there's already going to be a safety car at around middle of the race, or maybe at the end of the race, and then she can switch over to medium tires or soft tires. As there is, ooh, and we are seeing Soibs 1.5 seconds off, so he is not going to have DRS here in sector 2, and that's not going to be great for the Dutch / Moroccan driver, as he's not gonna get any closer. He's making up some time on the main straight, but it's not going to be enough, because Crossfire is making that back up into the corner section in sector 3 and sector 1. Tormund right now, and it seems like the AlphaTauris are doing a great job at scoring points. He's gonna try and make a move on the inside. Is it gonna work? It is gonna work, and he has made the move done. He's going a little bit wide, which means he's going to lose a position to the Alfa Romeo driver, and that's some great sportsmanship from the AlphaTauri driver right there to give the position back to Lewis the Beaker. Skills Dan is coming closer and closer every lap, as he is 1.4 seconds behind them right now, but Tormund is having a great battle with the Alfa Romeo driver at the moment. Let's have a look what's going to happen here in sector 3. Quite a dangerous sector to make the move, as it is Skill Dan 1.2 seconds. So if he's going to get a little few tenths more, as it is going to be Swipes making the pit stop, and so is Crossfire, so those two will try to, well, to pit quite early to make sure that nobody is undercutting them. Spillage just came into the pits, and we're seeing quite a few drivers coming into the pits, and I'm not sure that anyone else is gonna get held up, and it's gonna be depending if the Red Bull driver is gonna be in front of Soibs or behind, and it seems like he is behind, so that's not gonna be a great threat for the Mercedes driver. And he's warming up his tires quite heavily as he is weaving across the track, but I do think that's allowed for warming up your tires. Let's have a look at Tormund here. He is still very close to Lewis the Beaker. He has the DRS here in sector 2, and is he going to make the move? Let's have a look at his POV. He's going down the outside, and is it going to be enough? He's not making the same mistake as he made earlier, and he has made the move done on Lewis the Beaker. Maybe Lewis the Beaker is coming back. He's draining his ERS at the moment, going down the inside, but we know already that Tormund has some great straight line speed, and it was quite dangerous there what Lewis the Beaker did. He didn't touch the curb on the inside, but he went a little bit wide, which could have costed Tormund a couple of positions by spinning him out, but it didn't really happen, luckily, as he is not, well, he has just lost the position, but still P4 is quite good. And apparently Nat Packers has pitted again, so I'm not quite sure what her thought is behind this, and she went on to soft tires, and I mean, it's not a great decision, guys. No, she's on soft tires, and I think that's a great, I mean, it's a big mistake. Nat Packers with a 3-second penalty. And I think she's listening to the stream. I'm making her a little bit nervous. But yeah, my apologies, Nats. But yeah, we're gonna get back at the top two here because Rapid is under fire from Liam Z at the moment. I do think he has DRS, both drivers without any ERS, and it's very like Nat said at the interview. Ooh, Liam Z is gonna put it down the inside, and he's not gonna make the move work. Maybe he has good exit speed coming out of this corner. Isn't gonna be enough. He has a straight line speed, it seems like, because he is overtaking the Aston Martin driver on the straight line here. He's going wide, which means the Aston Martin driver has the inside, which means he's a little bit faster. And yeah, it's gonna depend on where Crossfire and Swipes are gonna end. Because it seems like Crossfire already made the move done on Intrinsic, but I'm not sure what happened between Swipes and, well, himself basically, because he is already 3 seconds behind Crossfire, and that's really gonna put him in a difficult position to get to that first win of this league, because he's one of the new drivers. The only race he's driven was in Zandvoort, the race, well, the season ender, where he ended up in P3. Quite an unfortunate incident he had there with, I think it was an Alpha Tauri driver, I'm not quite sure. Or was it the Alpine driver? Was it Servo? I'm not quite sure. Crossfire just puts in the fastest lap with a 134.3, which is 2 seconds slower than the official fastest lap on this track, set by, I think it was Max Verstappen in 2021, as there are coming 2 other drivers into the pits right now. And Transic is really keeping up Soids at the moment. He's making it quite a difficult. He's putting him in quite a difficult position, because I mean, if I'm Liam Z and Rapid, who are currently having a battle, if they are gonna come into the pits, it's gonna be depending on where are they gonna end, behind or in front of Swipes. And if it's gonna be in front of Swipes, Swipes has really lost a lot of time behind Transic. They're having a battle here in Sector 2 right now, as he has made the move done, I think, thanks to DRS. But let's get back to Liam Z, as he is 2 tenths behind the Aston Martin driver. And especially Sector 3, quite difficult to make the move. I think the first corner in Sector 3, the first 2 corners, what is it, turn 10 and turn 11, quite difficult to, well, it's easy to make a move there, but after that it's quite difficult. Maybe here on the main straight, but it seems like the Aston Martin driver has came into the pits, so that means he's gonna have a little bit of an advantage on I'm Liam Z after a couple of laps, because I mean, his tires will be warmed up and he will have a great outlap, I'm very sure. Liam Z hasn't made the pit stop yet, as he is under fire from Crossfire at the moment. And it's going to be depending if he's going to hold up the Red Bull driver and let Swipes come back a little bit, because he's 4.5 seconds behind, and I don't think Swipes is very confident on these hard tires at the moment. But Crossfire, I mean, congrats to him. He is so fast at the moment. 4 seconds gained in only a couple of laps. He is trying to make a move on Lewis the Beaker right now, and I think it's going to be a little bit more easy with the DRS he's having at the moment, and it's going to be an easy overtake for the Red Bull driver as he is getting back in P2. I am Liam Z still has to make the pit stop, and he has 0 ERS, and I want to have a look at how many Rapid has. He doesn't have DRS, so that means that's a great job for the McLaren driver, because if he had DRS, that means he is getting a little bit more time to come back. And yeah, I mean it's gonna be depending on where everyone ends. Rapid is right behind Swipes, well, 4.8 seconds, that's quite a bit. And Nat seems to be in the pits, and she retired in the pits, so that's not great to see, as I hope there won't be a safety car thanks to that, because we've seen that happen a couple of times where someone retired in the pits and we're seeing a safety car. So Crossfire just made the move work on I'm Liam Z quite logical, because Liam Z came into the pits, and it's going to be depending where Rapid is going to end up, if he's going to overtake I'm Liam Z, and it seems like it. He is going to have warmer tires, so he's going to get out of that second, I'm very sure, quite easily. But it's going to depend on the end of the race. 10 more laps to go, and Liamsey will have fresher tires, so he will come a little bit closer lap by lap. Tormund just made the move work on Lewis de Beeker. Skills Dan is trying to make the move work on Lewis de Beeker, but he wasn't in time. Yeah, Tormund back in P5 right now. Dylan has made the move work on David Barry. Not sure what happened with him. He came into the pits and retired. Quite unfortunate, as we are having 6 DNFs already, and that's not what we like to see. But I mean, if it's not your track, that's something. I mean, if you don't like this track, you really don't want to race it. And I heard from a couple of drivers already, they didn't really like the race, especially the track. And Transic is having a battle with Piastron for P10 at the moment. It was the sector 2 though, so that's a great overtaking opportunity, as it seems like Piastron is losing a little bit of time coming out of that corner in sector 3. But Transic has the fastest first sector right now, so he might be up to put in a fast lap, and he is on medium tires, and quite a lot of drivers are on medium tires, so that one was up in the beginning of the race. Quite a lot of drivers started on hard tires, went on to the medium tires, and right now Crossfire and Swipes are the only drivers who are on hard tires, together with Skills Dan and Spillage. But yeah, that's a big changer of this race, because we're gonna have a look at how much time is Rapid gonna make to Swipes. I don't think he's gonna make enough time to get back to Crossfire, but you never know, you know. Skills then finds himself quite close to the Alfa Romeo driver, Lewis de Beeker. And there he's gonna have DRS on the big straight here. And Lewis de Beeker doesn't seem to have DRS. It is not going to be enough for Skills Dan. He's lost a little bit of time at the end of sector 1 there, and that means he doesn't have DRS. Lewis de Beeker doesn't either, so they're gonna have a little bit of a battle at the end of lap 18, maybe lap 19, because they're gonna get a little bit closer to each other, and especially when Lewis de Beeker isn't gonna have DRS. And Skills Dan might have it, depends on what kind of setup he's running. So let's have a look if someone else is quite close to each other. No, it seems like the only battle that's going to happen soon is going to be between Skills Dan and Lewis de Beeker. So we want to have a quick look at how they are going to react to the situation. Lewis de Beeker under pressure. He has lost a couple of positions. I think he started in P7, right now in P6. As he is on the medium tires, I think he gained 1 position. Tormund gained 4 position. It is going to be Spillage gaining 6 position, and the biggest winner is Transic, who started in P18, right now scoring points in P10. It is only going to be 1 point, but that doesn't really matter, as we're going to have a quick look at the fastest lap. And the fastest lap has been set by Nat Packers, so if nobody is gonna beat that, it is not gonna be any points for anyone for the fastest lap. Let's have a look if it is gonna be an overtaking opportunity. It doesn't seem like it. Everyone is out of that 1 second, and that's not really great for a commentator. Because I mean, I don't really have anything to do right now. We can talk about how the drivers are taking the corners, but that's not really interesting because we had a full qualifying and we could have discussed the track layout right there. So we're gonna switch over to the track information. Well, no, not to the track information. We're gonna switch over to the strategy prediction, as we saw a lot of drivers take the fastest, what's it called, strategy, which is the medium hard strategy, which we saw Crossfire and Swipes staked. But then we saw another few drivers who switched around that strategy to go from a hard to a medium tire, which the drivers are right now on. Let's get a look at the tires. So 7 lap old tires for both Crossfire and Swipes. Rapid is having 4-lap-old medium tires. Liam Z is having 3-lap-old medium tires. And it seems like Rapid is getting quite close to Swipe, so we might be able to see an overtake within the next couple of laps from those two drivers. And Liam Z is quite close to 2.3 seconds. And I do think it's going to be enough. Louis the Beaker has a little bit of an advantage on Skills Dan right now because he has that medium tire compound compared to the 6-lap-old hard tires that Skills Dan is on right now. But it's going to be depending on what the tire degradation is at the end of the race, because the last couple of laps can be deciding for a couple of drivers. Piastron just made the move work on the Red Bull driver, and I think he's lost the car. The Red Bull driver, B1 Trappy, not having a great race. I think he had a great qualifying, and he indeed lost 5 positions, so that means he started from P6, right now in P11, so that's not great to see. Yeah, nobody is really close to each other. Rapid is making up 1/10 each sector, 1.2 seconds right now, and he is going to have the slipstream on Swipes at the moment, and I think Swipes has the straight line speed setup. Let's have a look. It doesn't seem like it, although Rapid has the slipstream. So let's have a look what the time change is going to be in sector 1, and if Swipes is going to try and keep Rapid behind him. Don't think it will be a difficult job for Rapid to make the overtake work in the next couple of laps. He is on medium tires, but the thing Swipes has to do is just keep it close to Rapid, because those medium tires will fall off at the end of the race, as it is still going to be 6 or 7 laps into this race here in France. What circuit is it again? I think it was Paul Ricard. Yeah, the circuit is called Paul Ricard here in Le Castellet. And apparently someone thinks it's going to be Rapid for the win, but it's going to be very difficult because he still has to gain 6 seconds in 6 laps. So that means he has to gain 1 second each lap, which is quite dangerous, especially if he has to make a move work on Swipes, which will cost him a couple of tenths, maybe a few seconds. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite secure to say that Crossfire is going to win this race, although he doesn't really have to crash, because that will ruin my strategy, well, my prediction, as it is going to be Dylan right now trying to make a move on Wasted, but Wasted really has that straight line speed setup, which is really coming in handy here in sector 2 on the straight line speed sector. Well, the straight line, that was what it's called. I'm just so confused with the straight line speed and the straight line and whatever the setups and the corners and whatever it is. So Wasted with a 3-second penalty, so that's not great, as Dylan doesn't have any penalties and he might be able to get that position from Wasted. Piastron has 3 seconds, maybe even more. I think he has quite a few. He has 9 seconds of penalties, so he won't really be able to get any positions. I think he does have P10 in the back, so that's going to be 1 point for him. Let's have a look at the position changes real quick. B1 Trappy with another 5-second penalty as he is coming into the pits, and I think he's gonna retire from the session. He might get on some new rubber to set the fastest lap, but that's not gonna be a point for anyone. Once again, Liam Z is quite close to Rapid. Rapid is quite close to Swipes. And let's have a look what's going to happen. As it seems like my headset is low on battery, so we don't want to miss on this battle, but I'm gonna change my batteries real quick, as we will be back in a few seconds. My apologies, guys. And I'm right in time for a battle between these two great drivers, as it seems like Rapid is not gonna make a move here in the first corner. He is gonna set up his car for the second sector, as he will try and make a move on the main straight in sector 2. He's just gonna get so close to Swipes, and I think Liam Z is gonna have a little bit of a benefit out of that. Let's have a look as he will have DRS on the main straight. So does Rapid, and Swipes is gonna be a little bit of well, I'm not gonna call him a loser, but I am gonna call him a loser because he doesn't have the DRS here on the main straight, and he's lucky. He's only gonna lose one position, but he's going too wide into that corner, and that means he has lost a position to Liam C. So he's gonna lose two positions in only one sector, and that's not great to see. He's gonna try and fight back, but it's not gonna be enough on his hard tires, and he's just got to keep it a little bit closer because those medium tires will fall off quite heavily around lap 25, 26, and then those hard tires will come in handy, as we're seeing Rapid having a penalty, and I think that's a 3-second penalty for crossing the track limits. It is indeed a 3-second penalty, and yeah, it's not going to be enough, so he's going to drop down one position, maybe two. And let's have a quick look at the penalties again. Lewis the Beaker with a 3-second penalty, so he will lose the position to Skills Dan. Spillage is gonna lose a position to Entransic, like things are looking now. Wasted is gonna lose a position to Dylan, and as I said, Rapid is gonna lose a position to I Am Liam C. So that's something to look out for at the moment, as it seems like Rapid is not really confident on the penalties at the moment, because I think he's got a few warnings already. And if he's gonna score another warning, I think that might be his second penalty. He's going on the main straight at the moment, feeling the pressure from Liam C. And we're gonna have a look if he's gonna make the move on the inside. He's gonna make it work. Is it gonna be enough? Let's have a look. He is in front of him, and he's gonna move to the braking zone, and that's quite dangerous, as almost the Aston Martin driver drove in the back of him. But he has made the move done, luckily. And now it's going to be the task for Soites to make the move work on Rapid. It is not really, well, obligated. Not sure if that's the word. Because, I mean, Rapid already has those 3 seconds of penalties. But it is going to be important to have a chance at making a move on I'm Liamsey, who is right now scoring 18 points on the board. I'm Trappy. B1 Trappy, my apologies, with 3-second penalty once again. So he already has 17 seconds of penalties. Ozen 2 fan with a 15-second penalty. So that's not great to see. Let's have a look what's going to happen here with Lewis the Beaker. We have to have a look at two battles, as it is going to be Skills Dan, not really close to Lewis the Beaker yet, as I think a move will happen within the next lap on the main straight. So we're going to have a look right now at Rapid, as he is finding himself quite close to Liam C, going into sector 2 at the moment. Crossfire with quite a confident, well, how am I going to secure, not sure if that's the word, a gap between himself and P2, as Liam C is having a battle with Rapid, but he's closing in quite heavily. Rapid at the moment with the DRS. Let's have a look. Liam C is weaving a little bit, quite dangerous, but not too much, as it is right in the regulations, as the drivers are able to swerve once to the left side and once to the right side, and that's the only thing they're allowed to do, which we saw Liam C do quite nicely, as Swipes already dropped out of the 1 second. So he will get in for P3, maybe P4, depends on how many time he's gonna lose behind Rapid. Because I mean, here's the thing: if he's dropping 2 seconds in 2 laps, he's not gonna get P3. He's gonna get P4, thanks to, to his, I'm not gonna say bad strategy, but to his unfortunate strategy. He was right in front of Rapid, but if Rapid gets the DRS here, and it seems like Soapes has the DRS too, so that's a little bit of a lucky thing at the moment. So 2 more laps to go, as Liam C is closing in on Crossfire, but 5 seconds is not going to be enough to gain into 10s. Well, it is going to be enough, but he's not going to make it, of course. Skills Dan right behind Lewis the Beaker, and I don't think he's going to have any risks. He's not going to take any risks, because Lewis the Beaker has 3 seconds of penalties, and I think he knows something we don't know, which is he's not having many penalties, I think, or many warnings. And that means if he does get another warning, he's not going to get a penalty and get past Lewis the Beaker for sure. As it seems like my voice is dying a little bit. I need to take a sip of water. My apologies, guys. Thank you very much. Soips right now 8 tenths behind Rapid. Rapid 3 tenths behind Liamsey, and it's only one more lap to go after this one. And it is going to be a spectacular France Grand Prix with an unfortunate dropout from Nat Packers, who pitted for an interesting strategy at the first few laps of the race. And I'm gonna ask in the chat already if someone is up for an interview. There we go. As we don't want to miss anything, of course, here in the last Grand Prix of the last lap of the France Grand Prix, of course, as we're seeing Skills Dan still quite close to Louis de Beeker, but as I said, he's going to keep it right behind Louis de Beeker. Louis de Beeker has the 3-second penalty, and Skills Dan doesn't have to take any risks, of course, but this is going to be deciding if Swipes is going to be able to overtake Rapid. Because if he is, he might be able to make a move in Sector 3 on Liam C. It's very unlikely. Skills Dan did make the move work, as it is quite of a dangerous move. Because now Louis de Beeker will have DRS in Sector 2, and we want to keep a closer look on those two drivers, as I don't think anything will happen in the top 3, top 4, as they're not very close. Well, they are very close to each other, but that 3-second penalty off Rapid is making it a little bit less interesting, as Louis de Beeker has the DRS right now, and he had a bad exit coming out of that corner, so he's not really having a great run here in Sector 2, so that's not going to be anything, as it is Rapid right now in P3, and he is going to drop back to P4. Liam overtook Rapid quite a long time ago already. Rapid has the DRS. It's not going to be enough, although he has a good exit, but he doesn't have a great... Ooh, and maybe that's something to report. I'm not sure if that's allowed in this league, but it is going to be Crossfire in P1, as he finished already. It is going to be I'm Liam C in P2, Soips in P3, Rapid in P4, and now we're going to have a look at Tormund, who is coming across the last straight from this race in P5. Absolutely amazing race from the AlphaTauri drivers. Skills Dan getting the P6, which is quite great. He didn't have a great qualifying. Let's have a look at the position changes real quick. 4 positions gained, so did Tormund. Louis de Beeker in P7 right now, and Transic in P8, who gained 10 positions. So in my opinion, he is one of the driver of the day candidates. Spillage 5 positions gained. Piastron, who had well, I'm not going to say a lucky race, because he had 18 seconds of penalties, but he scored points, 1 point for the standings. It's not great, but it's not awful either, because the driver who liked this track the most didn't even finish the race. So that's good for Piastron, as it is going to be Dylan, who hasn't finished the lap yet, and he's going to come across the lap right now for the France Grand Prix here of the URC Racing League, as it is Season 7, Round 1. And it was a great spectacle, a great starter for the race, for the season in general, as we are having a great starting track. Actually, I was a little bit skeptical about which track this was going to be for a season starter, but it turned out amazing, as Crossfire seems to be a girl. I'm not quite sure if that's really true, but she has the girly features and the long hair, so it doesn't really matter. Crossfire started from P1, ends in P1. Liam C started in P4, ends in P2. Swipes finishes up the podium with a P3. Biggest winner of the day, Skills Dan, in my opinion. He started from P10, went all the way to P6, so that will end up with 8 points, my apologies, as we want to get all the way to the back for the admin team to be able to see what is happening here. So yeah, this was your France Grand Prix here of the URC Racing League, as I'm gonna see if anyone is up for the interviews. So I will be back in a few seconds, and I will catch you guys later. All right, guys, and I'm afraid nobody is gonna join, so that's gonna be your France Grand Prix here in the URC Racing League. It was a great race, you know. We've seen some great overtakings happen, especially in the beginning of the race, where we saw a four-way battle for P6 between. I mean, it was Torman, it was Skills Dan, it was. I mean, it was who else was it? It was an Alfa Romeo driver. I remember that. Spillage, I think, and then we've had a Red Bull driver. I think that was Trappy. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that was some great overtakings, and especially here in France, it's always a great spectacle to see everything happen. We had your race winner, Crossfire, who had an amazing pace during the whole race. You know, we had Swiped, who got a lucky P3 in my opinion. He lost a few positions to Liam Z and Rapid, but Rapid had that 3 second penalty, so he dropped back all the way to P4. And that was going to be a little summary of the France Grand Prix, as we are going to have, I think it's Saudi Arabia next week. And I thank you so much for watching. It was a great race, and I was glad to have you here. So yeah, till next week, and it was a pleasure. Peace out.